couple of minutes, Fabrizio's come out and said we've got a here we go for Gyökeres to Arsenal. That's right. So those reports today that were talking about how United were going to make a late bid for this player, and we were talking about this morning actually, and what we were saying this morning, or what I definitely had the opinion of, is that we were being used basically. Not by Fabrizio necessarily, but we were being used to basically push Arsenal into doing that deal. I think all parties were getting a bit annoyed. I didn't understand, and I said this morning, that I felt that Arsenal would get this deal done. I felt that Arsenal should get this deal done, and I'd be really surprised if they didn't get this deal done. I did say a couple of weeks ago, United pull again. Sadly, not. Well, yeah, they definitely pulled something, and they definitely pulled a hamstring this while. So I was of the opinion that United should either get this deal done or get Arsenal to get this deal done. And we did say this morning on the show, I was basically begging with Arsenal fans to get this done and get this over the line. And I'm now glad that this conclusion has done. I think we said on here, and particularly in the chat, about how this Gyökeres deal was never going to get done. Sesko again, so there are a couple of conflicting reports on Sesko, whereas now we are putting it out there that Sesko now is too expensive, which for me is on the back of Ornstein coming out this morning. I did have a little bit of a rant about that, basically saying how United may not do any of their business in this window, and how we may need to be patient. The things we miss in this window may go to the January window, which annoys the hell out of me, because we all know we don't use that window. So basically, United are using Ornstein, and again, this is, for me, is the price you pay when you work with the devil. When you make a deal with the devil, then you've got to pay the price. So the kind of reports are backing off again now this week. So this is why it's really important that we keep on banging this drum. The positive for me is Gyökeres. I can start putting him on the bloody thumbnails. I never thought once he was going to come to us. Now, when Arsenal got involved, he's even alluded to that as well. I think it's a failure. I think it's a failure on our part. Amorim was his manager. Amorim was his coach who brought him through. But yet, again, this is another example of whereby when you get the likes of Ornstein coming out, when it comes to the transfers, he's very clear that he gets stuff. So it's really important that you listen to him, right? But as a United fan, with the manager that brought Gyökeres through, I'm not going to sit here now and be like, oh, they've signed an awful player, they've signed a bad player. Arsenal have done good business here. I take my hat off to Arsenal with this deal. A bit slow getting it done. I don't know why you would hesitate. I don't know if you know an Arsenal fan who basically, I don't understand why they didn't want to get this deal done. I mean, Ekitike going for 78 mil, and you go Gyökeres, one of the best strikers of the last season. We've got his coach who can't even convince him to come to the club, and you've got Arsenal, who are the only horse in the race, and we were clearly being used. And that's the thing I think that we said this morning on the channel, or I've thought for some time, is that we've been used in this scenario just to get Arsenal over, to get Gyökeres over the line. So I'm glad it's done. I'm disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed. I think Arsenal have done. I think if they've got a really, really good striker here, I think he could be the missing piece. And it's just frustrating being right. So for all this, so for everyone else who's basically saying about how United are cooking and how all these players are doing really, really well, and whatever else they've all been saying, some of channels now whereby people are entitled to their opinion, and I get that, but let's hope he flops. I'm not, Bobby. I'm with you on that one. I mean, I don't wish rivals, but are they really a rival right now? I don't think they are. I think they're better than us, sadly. But it just goes to highlight for me is that how, as a football club, we let Quenda go to Chelsea. Gyökeres now goes to another rival. Well, they're not really, are they? And we're cooking, and all these other outlets today and whatever else saying United are doing their business. Ornstein himself was banging on about basically how it's going to take time, and we've done some business, and we've done better than most clubs. It's a load of nonsense. It's an absolute load of nonsense. We've got Mberme, we've got Cunha, and we've still got the team that finished 15th last season. So you can say what you like, but our rivals apparently that we're trying to aspire to be Liverpool, Chelsea, City, and now Arsenal just gone and got, by the way, for about 60 million, one of the best strikers in Europe. And what have we done? We just let him go by. And apparently all this, we've done well. We've done well under the circumstances on which we've been. It's been a really hard window. We've been working hard. And we've struggled. Well, Arsenal haven't. Arsenal just literally gone and got this deal done. I know it's taken a couple of weeks, but that's because they're being obstinate on the deal. But they managed to get it done. I suppose says if I had to choose out of City, Liverpool, or Arsenal to win the Prem, I'll choose Arsenal again. 100%, 100%. I am of all these teams now. I think Arsenal now have gone and got what they need to win the league. So there's no excuses for them not to win the league now. But this sort of signing really just goes to illustrate. Just because we've gone and got two players, we've only got two players. We're still left with a gaping hole in the midfield. We haven't got a striker. The Premier League starts in a month's time. We still need to go on tour, and yet we still are missing basically a team. And it feels like every other season whereby they are these teams now. Arsenal, Liverpool, the Chelseas. They've got their players in. Pre-season starts. We've still got the majority, other than two players, one of which who hasn't played yet. We've still got the same team. We've still got the same team that finished 15th. In fact, we've probably got a worse team because our first choice keeper is injured and not going to be playing. So we're actually in a worse position than we were last season. And we finished 15th. So this deal, to me, I'm glad it's done. It represents a failure on our part. It represents a failure on the club's part to go and get a striker that a manager basically brought through. Took a chance on him, and he doesn't want to come. Also goes to show that Amrin should have taken the final more serious, because then we could have probably got him and been in different position. But more than anything else, and this is, do not buy into this Ornstein, this rhetoric that's coming out from the club that we're doing good business. It takes time, under the. Would you now take Sesko? 100%. I want Sesko now. I want Sesko. Come to this club, and first game of the season, you have a striker off to see who signed the better striker. I'd go Sesko. That's where I'd go. I think that Arsenal have made a statement now. How do we respond to this? Do we respond by excuses which have already started? The spin's already started to come out. We may not do our business now. We we may not do this business. We may have to push some targets back to the January window, the window that we never use, a January transfer window that we never use. So I'm going to be interested now to see what we do with the striker. Arsenal have made a statement. I'm glad it's done. As I said this morning, begging Arsenal to take him just to go and get this deal done. Congratulations to Arsenal. In yesteryears, I'd be like, I hope he flops. He's going to be floppy McFlop, but I don't think he is going to. Arsenal, who were already ahead of us, have now jumped ahead of us again. Liverpool have jumped ahead of us. We still have the same team. We literally still have the same team that finished 15th. So how are we going to respond? That is the question. What are we going to do now? Are we going to go and get a Shesko? We're going to go get a Calvert-Lewin. Unless we do something left field and we do something big, then we are admitting defeat already. And I do not accept that. It's a difficult market. We're doing our best under the circumstances. That's one of the best quotes. I'm going to quote somebody now. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but if you watch their show they did this morning, they basically said that they're doing well. Basically, under the circumstances that they're having to work through, United are doing well. Like, what circumstances? The circumstances of the Glazers put us into debt. The Glazers kept us in debt, let our stadium get destroyed. Then Ineos come in, but all around in the background hatching a plan to regenerate and basically keep the club for as long as possible, bleed the club dry, have no drive or ambition or any real sense of what they're doing with the club, keep failures employed at this club for a number of years, then go and get back in from Ineos and the Glazers, who apparently did a review of the club but yet still bought the club, then wasted a load of money last season on a manager they sacked anyway, failed at Nice, have come here, apparently got the best in class, and then had targets from April and have delivered 2 players. Now, they've delivered. Cunha was an easy deal to do, and Burmo, as it proved, I'm not saying that the signing is a bad signing, but they were going to walk to the right decision, not run to a bad one. We got schooled by Brentford, who, when you go to their stadium, you have to literally go through someone's house. They schooled us. They wanted 70 million. We thought we were the big brash city boys, and we got absolutely screwed. We paid them what they wanted to pay. So what's actually changed? My question here is what's changed for all the rhetoric that people are saying about how we've changed, we're trying to do things like behind the scenes and we're selling players. Great, fantastic. But that's not going to help us win the league in 2028, according to Omar Barada. That's not going to fix the club. So I'm at a loss right now. The 2 signings are great and they are very good signings. I'm not detracting from that. But we're not doing well. We haven't done well. We're not doing well. And then the next question is what's left? We need a goalkeeper. We probably need a centre midfielder. After that Leeds game, prefix with, of course, I need to prefix it, is with pre-season. We literally have 4 games. We have 4 games, I think, is it 5 games? 4 games left until the season starts. Everybody else, I mean, Ornstein's comment as well about, like everyone else, we're talking about the Bournemouths, we're talking about the Brightons, we're talking about the Crystal Palaces, and this is no disrespect to their fans. They will, most of those finish higher up the league than us. But are we now aspiring to be them, or are we aspiring to be the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, who've all gone and done their business? Arsenal can now close up shop, go and literally have a pre-season with their team. They've got an established patterns of play. They know what they're doing, and now they've just added one of the best European strikers to that. And what have we done? We played Højlund up front, and Obe. We've got a 17-year-old up front and Hoyland, who literally couldn't hit a barn door with banjo. And we drew 0-0 with Leeds, who looked better than us. So, can somebody please just, because from what I can see now, we're literally now just being spun around again, because everything's fine, but it's not. So I'm glad that Gyökeres deal is done. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad I can stop putting him on the thumbnail, because it's just annoying, that stupid finger thing that he does. I'm not bitter at all, but no, he's a great player. Arsenal just signed a fantastic striker there. I can't lie about that. The old competitiveness of me hopes he's gonna do really poorly, but I'm pleased he's going to be in Premier League, and we're basically going to see what we miss. So, well done to Arsenal. Well done to Berta, who managed to get this deal done. And as a United fan, I'm going to look on with green eyes, because I can only wish that we could do what you guys do. So if anything else breaks, other than, normally this is not one that I do about other clubs, but I just thought that this was a pertinent one to do, because apparently we were going to hijack the deal and all this nonsense. But Arsenal eventually got their deal done, and all done to them. And as I say, I'll look on with green eyes, waiting until we make our move. So on that note, thank you for watching, of course. I'll come back on if anything pertinent to what we do, and have a good rest of your day. And again, well done to Arsenal. Absolutely gutted. See you soon. Take care.